Good afternoon, everybody. Rather than go over this in class, I am going to make make this recording for you and then let you see if this is helpful enough for you. If not, then let's definitely set up a conference the week of elections, or sometime before this is due, for me to talk to you about the assignment. I want to make sure you feel really clear about what to do. I'm hoping this will be helpful to you, so you can see that it's worth 200 points altogether. You can also see here your steps to completion. Plan and fulfill your observations. So section 1, and you've already done that in October. So creating your observation report is section 1. Section 2 is to choose the child and create the report about the child. Then begin making the plan and create and report in section 3. You'll do an informal presentation of this on the 19th. You can just have notes and have it written out. It's fine. And there'll be time to workshop this, and then your final paper is due on December 3rd for this semester. So you're creating basically 3 sections in this process. So I'm going to go through those now a little in more detail. Section 1 is your observation. So you have 6 hours. You've already done all of that. So you're now in the observations reporting. That's all you need to send me, is the observation reporting. Your field log will serve as demonstrated that you did the observations. Okay, so field log takes care of that. It tells me where you were, all of that good stuff. So now you're in the observations reporting part. So you'll look at this as section 1. You can put section 1, observations reporting, as your headline if you want. That helps you stay organized. And then you basically are going to report on the environment. And these are guiding questions. You could, if you wanted to, use these as headings for this part of your paper. So you could put, what is the physical environment, and then answer it. What are the classroom routines? Then you can just list their schedule, the classroom schedule. What are the ways in which adults use language to honor identities, experiences, etc.? So you go through all of what you observed, and then we've gone through direct and indirect guidance. So you could list a few examples of that you noticed when you were observing. You could talk about how they were effective or not effective, and talk about any strategies from our panelists, from the programs we looked at, from your textbook, class discussions, anything like that. And you really just need to make that a simple question and answer. If you want to use the headings, you can, or you can just answer the questions in a narrative. However you like to report on something that you've observed in a space that you have observed in. When you answer about the physical environment, you can tell me how old the kids are and that kind of thing if you want to. But that will be on the field log too, so it's fine if you don't put that. All right, so now you're in section 2. I'm thinking section 1 maybe is a page and a half. It just depends on how lengthy your answers are. You could make it 2 pages if you wanted. It certainly should at least be a page, at least. So then you identify the child that interests you. This is section 2. You can use that as your heading, right? Identify the child in the setting whose responses and struggles in the environment interest you. Describe why and how the child is responding and struggling. So just give me one really clear example of what really demonstrates this interest you have. One interaction you observed, something that really helps me understand, this is what really got them interested. Then your second part is using things in the when to say when process. Assess the child's strengths and needs regarding responses and struggles. So, for example, you could go into the when to say when process and say, oh my gosh, this child is not outside very much. This child never seemed to have time to be expressive artistically. This child really got a lot of really good training time with teachers. They really showed the child how to do things and let the child practice how to do things. Just what things did you notice? What things did you not see happening? Just tell me about those. You don't have to do every one. Pick the ones that make sense about this child. Then, looking at the course overall, you've got a lot of information that you've gotten from this course. Look at where this child is in terms of child development. Really tell me, this child is 4, but they really are young. They still do this. They also still do that. Or this child is 3, but they really seem older. And tell me why. Tell me a little bit about the child's development, where you see them. Then you go on. So now you've described the child to me. You can tell me anything else you want me to know about the child. And then you get into section 3, which is the format for the guidance plan. So this is the part of the paper where you're going to choose from all the things we've talked about. And remember to use professional language about the child. So just be careful with that. And start answering these questions. You could use these as headings if you wanted. How would you plan to address these responses and struggles? So make some suggestions here from your own thoughts, from what you've learned, from what we gathered, just all the things you've got available to you now. What things, if you had this child in your classroom, maybe choose 3 or 4. Where would I start with this child? So if I notice the child really was sleepy a lot, maybe that's something I would ask the parents about and talk to them about the child's sleep. So just anything at all. Then your next heading or question is, what alterations might you make or occur in the environment? So look around the classroom, look at the class schedule, the things that are related to the environment. What might you change for this child if you could? Remember, this is just a wish. Then number 3 is look at the direct and indirect guidance pieces, and which one of those do you think might help? Or more than one, what ones do you think might help? Number 4, a discussion of the ways that teachers, colleagues, and family could work together. So if this was a child in your class, again, family, guardians, whoever the child's family is, could be guardians, but they're still family. How would you work with them? What would your approach be? So that's a beginning what kinds of beginning conversations might you have about the things that you answered in 1, 2, and 3. So just be thinking about, how would I tell my teachers in the classroom with me, I want to try this? How would I talk to the family about it? And so on. The content of the report is intended to be an integration of techniques and concepts learned in class. Explicit reference to course readings should also be part of this. So make sure you're including that, and you don't need to do a citation. Just when you talk about them in section 5, you can note which part of the readings that you're referencing there. So you have a rubric here. Honestly, if you do this well, if you answer the questions, if you go through this step by step by step, I think you should be fine. Most of my students, if not all of them, have really been okay. So when you heard Angela when she got to the part where she wanted to deal with the other colleagues and teachers, teachers and family, that's when she decided to write the book, because she realized this is what I would really do. And this is what I would do for a child who had this situation. So if you want to get really creative, definitely let me know so that we can talk it through. But I'm open to that. Angela still filled all this out, but her main component of the assignment was the book she created. So she didn't write as much in the guidance plan section. So I hope that's helpful for now. We'll keep talking about this. I really think you've got this if you just follow those step-by-step pieces that I've just gone over.